we were able to come together, bringing people together. That's what it should be about. Building relationships with the young people, building relationships with the community, building relationships with community groups.
You probably inspired people to join them.
My uncle's played an amazing part in my life because we do a Bible session once a day.
I remember talking to young people in local schools, and they'd say the only time we see police is when they go down the street in a car.
I would like to see officers get involved in soup kitchens, working with the charities, community groups.
I may be doing time, but there ain't no reason not to shine.
Just do it.
I did less than I should.
Welcome to a new series of Peckham podcast. When I was a boy, Dixon of Dock Green was on the TV every Saturday evening. I don't remember any violence at all. Nowadays it's not quite the same, is it? Because we've graduated through Z cars, things like the Sweeney, Morse and Lewis. We got Scandi Noir, do you remember that? And things went really rather dark. 20 episodes of it. What that talks about, in a sense, is not the Bobby on the beat. In Dixon of Dock Green, he was stood under a lamppost. There was that implicit thing. He was out in the community and not racing around in high-speed cars with sort of supervillains. Where are we now with the Bobby on the beat? Well, my first guest is kind of that, and he's been it for a stupendously long period of time, which must be some kind of world record, because police officers, in my experience, are always moving on. I've been looking forward to this for a year, I think I can say, because you came and sat in this room with a group of us 2 years back, unbelievably, and we did what we called a round table. We were 8 or 9 people swapping thoughts on community and faith. And I happen to know, because that's my job, that this gentleman is a man of faith, but he's also a serving police officer. PC Nsikan. Welcome, and thank you so much for coming.
Absolute pleasure. I couldn't wait to do this. This is just, for me, means a lot to me.
I hope it does at the end.
I'm sure it will.
Now, there's something special about your very name, Nsikan.
Yeah, so my name, it comes from a part in Nigeria, which is in the southeastern area of Nigeria. And my name, it means nothing's impossible for God. So faith plays a massive role in my culture, my community, and for me, it's on a personal level.
Nothing's impossible for God. Now, you bearing that name, is that ever a weight on your shoulder?
I try not to think of it that way. Yeah. I attach to the beautiful element of it, the motivational element. You know, that through faith, through your relationship with God, you can achieve so much.
Yeah. And do you feel that as life has been unfolding for you to this point, that holds true?
Oh yeah. I've seen so many things. I mean, look, when I was 5 years old, a testament to that statement. When I was 5 years old, I was hit with a scar. Yeah. I got run over by a car. I ran out into the street. Yeah, 5 years old.
Every parent's nightmare.
Yeah, every kid's parent's nightmare.
Yeah.
Ran out into the street, tripped over, and a car hit me, bang, straight in the head. The emergency services were surprised that I survived. Absolutely surprised that I survived. But here's the thing. I had a purpose. I had a purpose in life, and most young people would have been killed by such a tragedy. I've got something that I need to do, and so nothing's impossible for God. No matter what the barriers, no matter what the obstacles, nothing's impossible.
Wow. That is powerful. And you're in the middle of doing this thing that you've come to do, that you feel is your purpose.
Yeah, I've done many roles in policing. For me, the 2 areas that I've loved the most has been working with youth and working with the faith institutions, the faith groups. That has been the 2 most powerful. And as a consequence, you've now got about 20 22 years of work in those fields because there's a continuity there. That's my passion. That's the areas that mean the most to me. And so I've spent the most of my policing career focused on those areas.
Right. I won't do the silly question and ask you to pick one that you prefer over the other because they cross over so much, don't they?
They cross over so much. I couldn't. Chris, in all honesty, I'm in youth. When I joined the police service, the two areas that meant the most to me was promoting the safety of women's rights and promoting the safety of young people. Those were my two passions. Those were my two focal points for joining the police service.
We're talking the early 2000s then, are we?
Yeah, we're talking 2003.
2003, yeah.
And I can tell you a little story about how I came into the police service. I mean, there's different aspects to it, but in 2002, I don't know if you remember the boxer Lennox Lewis?
I do.
Yeah.
A world champ.
Yeah, world champ. Well, he had there was an advert, and he was part of this police campaign advert, where he says, I don't know if I could handle the pressure that a police officer deals with. And then there's this catch line, could you? And I just remember, I was half and half about whether or not to join the police service. After I saw that advert, that was the icing on the cake. This is painful. This is painful for me because I gave up so many years of my policing career working in schools.
Because we've been allowed to have meetings with emergency response teams and young detectives, and we see how much under pressure they are. And they open up to us where they won't open up in front of the borough commander or a superintendent.
You've got an important role, a crucial role in terms of the well-being of officers.
You locked her up once and became friends. Don't answer.
She was the deputy head teacher of the pupil referral unit that I was working as a safe schools.
Right.
And so we had to...
Is that SEALS 4?
It was SEALS, the whole...
Oh, the whole caboodle.
The whole institution.
Right.
But the thing is, the way it works, if you're working with a pupil referral unit, some of the key individuals you have to have a relationship with are the head teacher, and the most powerful relationship or the most frequent relationship is with the deputy head teacher, because you're always going to be non-stop dealing with situations with them. We're going to be working hand in hand. So it was essential that we had to get on well and have similar values, and that was a good thing about the relationship between me and Doreen.
Yeah.
We've got similar values, passions for youth, and it was just a natural coming together because of the values that we share.
Yeah, it's impressive what's being built.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah, but that falls into my skill set. If I was to talk about some of my gifts, because each and every one of us have got gifts. We all got talents.
You are a local policeman in a very old tradition of local policemen. I don't know whether you go out on the beat at all. Do you go out on the beat?
I do sometimes, not often, but yeah.
Do you go solo or in two?
Oh gosh, it'll be, if I am out and about, it's usually in two. But I do like to go and do my little solo walks now and then. Yeah. And
that's okay, is it? Because in some areas you wouldn't, I'm told, go out on your own as a copper these days.
Do you know something? I'm going to be very honest with you, Chris. I'm not fazed. I feel safe in most of... The thing is, because I've lived in this borough, and I've also policed this borough. I was born on this borough. I was born in King's College Hospital. My first address was Crystal Palace Road. So I've always had this connection with Southwark. And growing up, the church that my dad was a pastor at was in Peckham. So I've always had this connection with Peckham and Southwark, and so this is home to me, and so walking about it doesn't. I know some officers who come from outside of the area, maybe from some of the outer counties. They will have this perception, but I don't have that perception because I've had so much investment in this community, in this area.
Well, I've been based in Peckham since 1982.
Exactly.
So it's what I know, in effect. I guess it's changed, but I feel I could walk anywhere, pretty much any time of day.
Yeah.
Although there are obviously stories aplenty of nonsense, whether it's youths or gangs or one-off things. But it feels very random, and if you're not stupid about stuff, life can just be lived, it seems to me.
You just hit the nail on the head for me. I mean, look, there's things you can do to prevent yourself being a victim of crime. You know, not advertising your mobile phone, not walking around, because criminals are opportunists. Yeah, the majority of criminals going out there looking actively seeking to do crime, they look for opportunities. Yeah, and so if your phone's being waved around, if they can see people, carrying their phone whilst out and about, that can be a potential for them to grab that opportunity to commit crime.
Yeah.
So it's just taking little, sensible measures you can avoid, being a victim. For me, this is going to sound very corny, so disclaimer, people. But for me, if you think about Superman, this is okay. I'm Superman now. Think about me as Superman. For me, Superman draws his power from the sun.
Okay.
And me being in Southwark, that's my source of energy, policing wise. Being with this community, this is where there's times where in policing it's extremely demanding. It can be disheartening at times when you're seeing some of the stuff that goes on. But then you've got amazing individuals in the community doing powerful things, and that inspires you, that re-energizes you. The work I've done with young people, seeing tears in families' eyes, when you do something that makes such a difference in their world. There's so many amazing moments that you can connect to from a policing perspective, working with the community. You just get re-energized. Yeah, it drives you. It's a passion, and so the community is my sun. Yeah, like Superman.
I mean, there's two big areas that it feels logical for us to talk about today. One is faith, because I know how important that is for you. For my part, I can't see community working without a faith component. Whether, as you know, because I did this for that round table discussion we had, whether you spell faith with a small f or a big F, and whether the person's therefore involved with an organised religion, or they're just making their way in life, but they have a system of values by which they live their life that have evolved for them and make sense for them. And in the end, it's about living the good life, it seems to me, and working out how to do that with where you are and in amongst the people that you share that with, whether that's in your house, assuming you have a family, or whether it's just out on the streets and to and from work or school or whatever. So faith is a big thing, and the other thing would be young people, I think, because there's a lot of concern about the state of the country, whether you think about immigration. The levels of immigration for years have been very high, and in more recent years they've become very high, really quite significant. So I'd be interested in a passing comment, since you're not just a British man, you're a British Nigerian, I think.
Yes.
So
right.
It'd be very interesting to hear your view on that, if you want to share it. But there is such an array of kind of problematic things. Like at the time of our recording this, there's quite a significant war going on in the Middle East. Prices are going to go up, and that's going to have an impact on people's shopping basket or their job. Who knows where that's going? Petrol prices are already going north. It's been very quick to change. 10 or 15p went on at one garage, like in a blinking of an eye.
Space of a week.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of reasons for life to be tricky. And I know when I've spoken to young people, they talk about wanting to put food on the table. These are young guys in particular who have taken a path in life that hasn't always been what one might think of as the best or the most advised path. But putting food on the table has been, if you take them at their word, a driving force. They might be a single parent family, which therefore is even more pressure on income. So why don't we start on the faith side and move towards young people?
Yeah, sure.
We need intervention in communities of imagination that have value. Does faith for you represent a potential beneficial intervention in people's world that can help?
Most definitely. I mean, to give some context, over the last year and a half, I've had the opportunity to be working with faith institutions across Southwark and Lambeth. So I've gone on my journey. I've had the opportunity to learn about the Jewish faith, the Muslim faith, the Muslim community, and the Islamic faith. I've had the opportunity to learn about Christianity as well, my own, which is my own. That is my own religion. It's been amazing. But the Buddhist community, there's been so much work done with the different faith communities in Southwark and Lambeth, and I've had an amazing journey. I can give you some stories. I went to my first iftar with Southwark Council, and
Iftar means?
Oh, it's the breaking of fast during the Ramadan period.
Yeah.
And so, wow, that was beautiful. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, didn't know what it was going to entail, but what I saw was the community coming together. We had representatives from all different faiths at that event, and I was able to get a more richer insight into the Islamic faith. And so, I've had an amazing journey, being able to participate in events. I was able to participate in the prayers. That was special for me. Yeah, going side by side with representatives from the Islamic faith. Absolutely amazing. Participating in some of the Jewish traditional events. That absolutely mind blowing. I love that, and here's the powerful thing about it. We were able to come together, bringing people together. That's what it should be about. That's what faith should be. It's not about dividing, it's connecting.
A tangent. There's a new word, anti-Muslimness. That's it. You in theory might have heard, if anybody's going to hear, if in the Muslim community that we have in South London that you are connecting with, they are aware of that sort of sentiment that is difficult for them, in the way that we know anti-Semitism has been on the rise because of the war in Gaza, and it's become very difficult for Jews. Do you have a sense of the anti-Muslimness, for the sake of a phrase, in South London here?
Yeah, Islamophobia has been on the rise. We've been doing a lot of work with the Muslim community, working with the mosque, the local mosque, because they've been subject to hate crime. They've had to go through a lot. You've had individuals subjected to things that just don't represent the values of Britain. We've had they've spoken to me about times where their institutions, have been subjected to hate crime, where people have made some vile comments. We've had graffiti, vandalism. There was that period during the the Southport murders.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a spike in Islamophobic sentiments, and the environment was just very, very dangerous. It was it was toxic. And the thing is, the world that we're operating now, incidents like that can be magnified even more so because of the social media system, because of the way the technology operates. And so it can compound the sense of fear. And the good thing, the silver lining, one of the secrets to my policing career and the successes that I've achieved in policing is by taking situations which could be negative, but using those situations to bring us together. Because I've found in life, you find out who are your deepest, more meaningful relationships in times of adversity. Those that stand by you during the hard times, not just the good, but the hard times. That's a real test of a strong friendship, a strong relationship. And we've made some amazing strides into the Muslim community, dealing with situations together. That's made the difference.
And you being a Christian, I suppose, is helpful in that regard, because it's like extending the hand of friendship, isn't it? Just the fact of you approaching a Muslim community and saying, just by definition, you're a policeman and you're a Christian.
Yeah.
And you're going up to a Muslim community and you're saying, let's work on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a welcoming community. Let me just put that straight out there. And the way I approach my relationships, one, you've got the police side, but the powerful thing about me is that I'm a lover of society, I'm a lover of community, I'm a lover of the people, and I'm dedicated, I'm committed to building relationships. And so I'm very honest. I always tell people I'm on my journey in our relationship, and they've helped me through, and they're giving me the guidance, and I got my first Quran offered to me when I was in Finsbury Mosque doing an introduction into the Muslim faith. The Muslim community and the Islamic faith. I got my, that was just a beautiful moment where we got individuals from the local authority, police, just to get an insight into the Islamic faith. And that was amazing. And that was part and parcel of my journey. And that's something that we're trying to interject to other officers, because now the model that we've got our local policing teams engaging with the mosques across the borough, and there's individuals that wouldn't have been exposed to the faith, and they're on journeys, and so we're rolling out training. We're together with representatives from the mosque to support our officers to help them get that insight and learn about the faith.
You tempted to switch?
No, I'm very grounded. I love my faith is my faith, and I'm not moving from that. I'll never move from that.
It's a sort of identity, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's, and I love that word identity, because that shapes who we are. That shapes our pathway. And my journey, faith has played a major part in that pathway. If you want to break me down into my components, faith, my country of origin, Nigeria and the UK, my family, my work with the community. These are key components that that won't change.
There's a lot of tension in the country at the moment vis-a-vis Islam and the numbers. We're all aware, I think, that churches aren't doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
They can close, some of them, just because the congregation has dwindled more or less away.
Yeah.
The Church of England hasn't done a very powerful job in attracting people, although the Alpha course, from what I understand, has been very successful,
Mm-hmm.
and churches that offer that can drive quite significant congregational numbers for their Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've felt about Islam and the way it organises itself through Islamic centres, because they use that phrase, don't they? A mosque can be an Islamic centre,
Yeah,
which means
yeah.
it automatically is a sort of there for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And that aspect of their faith seems to work very well. And they seem, as Islamic centres, to function at quite a high energy rate. And churches, over the course of my lifetime, many of them have fallen very quiet and somewhat lifeless, which is sad. How is that work unfolding with you meeting different faith communities, with big headline names,
Mm-hmm.
in one given geographical area, our borough?
Mm-hmm.
What's your reading of the community in relation to these different faith clusters?
Well, if we take Southwark and Lambeth, you've got over 1,000. I mean, and I'm being very real, over 1,000 different faith institutions in those boroughs. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for the police service to be able to connect with them, effectively the way in which we would like to.
The majority would be churches, would they?
The majority
Of
would be churches,
various denominations.
Yeah, if you take somewhere like Oakham Road, the amount of churches that you've got one of the highest densities in terms of volume of churches in a geographical location. It's absolutely immense. And so finding ways in which we can connect with them, because faith is an amazing opportunity for police to engage with the community. It cut across so many key demographics, youth, in terms of financial status, professions, gender, you name it.
Countries of origin?
Countries of origin as well,
Because West Africa would be well represented in the Christian groupings, wouldn't it?
Yes, most definitely. You've got so many West African churches in the Peckham area. Across Southwark and Lambeth. But because faith cuts across all these demographics, it gives us an amazing launchpad to engage with the community. So that's where a lot of our focus is centred around.
Do these faith groups help in relation to controlling or creating more law and order in community? Are those communities, have you sensed, more balanced?
Yeah, they faith institutions give a great framework for civil cohesion. It's an absolutely brilliant platform to help support individuals in the time of need. Through the faith community, you've got people, they can act as that middle person. That give us the location, give us the opportunity to engage with the community effectively, provide support services. We've got programs we've launched recently Met Engage and Street Safe, which are programs where the community can notify us where there's areas where they don't feel safe. They can get updates about where what's going on, what activities police are doing in their local community. We've been able to utilise faith institutions to offer those services and have those platforms to talk. I do presentations I've done presentations in mosques, I've done presentations in churches. I've had amazing opportunities to do talks and connect with the community under those circumstances. And so, yeah, faith is powerful.
Would you say to people, try something, visit a church or a temple or a mosque, give it a go, and if they're living a life that's, I don't know, not necessarily even chaotic, but perhaps unfulfilled or with elements of difficulty in their life, whatever that might be, young people going through teenage. And so the core family unit gets a bit dysfunctional if it's under pressure for a long time. Is this an intervention one could socially make, do you think? Can your faith engagement project in the local policing, can that play that sort of role?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be advocating which faiths to subscribe or, but
No.
I could talk about the journey for me and the benefits it's had for me in my life and how important it's been in shaping my identity. Policing is about connecting, building relationships. And the identity that I've got, I've been able to utilize faith to help me in terms of my engagement with people. So for me, it's been extremely beneficial. My other aspect of my identity, I'm a young black male. Well, can't say young anymore.
Of course you can, darling.
well, we'll take whatever. But being able to use that aspect of my identity has built bridges. It's helped in my connections with young people. It's helped connections with the Nigerian community. It's helped in my connections with the different faith institutions. Certain faith institutions, you have a representation there. You might find a Nigerian church or a West African church. Because of my identity, I can relate to a lot of the stuff, the songs that, I'll be there clapping, dancing, even if it's in uniform, because these are the songs that I was brought up with. So yeah, it helps build bridges, and it's a powerful thing for me.
I've picked up that quite a lot of young men are turning to the Catholic Church in this country. I mean, that may be a terrible generalisation, but I've heard of several examples just myself. Have you come across that? And are young men picking up the idea of finding a faith for themselves more so than young women?
That you've just hit on a really interesting area, and I really want to explore this. I mean, look, I've got social media, and constantly on social media, you're seeing footballers, celebrities proclaiming their faith. You're going to, you watch live televised events. TV is one of the most powerful mediums for influencing the way our minds think, the way we operate, the way we view the world. And so you're seeing celebrities being more confident to proclaim their faith. We're seeing more and more of it. And so, I mean, look, I'll give you an example. I see Eze, Eberici Eze. I'm a Tottenham fan, so I won't go too far into that. But I mean,
I offer my commiserations. You're having a difficult time.
At the point of this podcast, I was in tears yesterday. I was suffering, but yeah, no.
Eze,
and there's more. Anton Semenyo. There's so many. There's so many players showcasing their faith, and we've seen there's been a rise. I've seen it documented. There's been a rise in engagement with faith institutions, and their beliefs. And I feel that's part and parcel as a consequence because of the proclamation of celebrities and showcasing their faith.
Right. So they're playing a very positive role.
Massively. I mean, look, when I was younger, we all had. I mean, I'll throw it out to you. Do you remember individuals that you looked up to in the
Absolutely
in the media?
Yeah, and in sport when I was a boy. Yeah, huge figures.
Exactly, and look, how many young people have aspirations to be, a footballer, a celebrity. I remember when I was younger, I had dreams of being a musician. And I wanted to, I can't sing, so don't ask how that was going to work. But I wanted to be part of a boy band, a group, group.
Rap was made for you.
Oh well, you've not heard my rapping, Chris. The last person that heard me rap completely put the end to any aspirations of that.
Oh dear, brutal.
When you highlighted about more, seeing trends, when you've got celebrities proclaiming their faith, it's got to be part and parcel of why we're seeing that uptake.
That's a great intervention. I use the word intervention quite a bit because 25 years or more I've been doing local media work here in Southwark.
Yeah.
I gave up the charity that was the umbrella for that work last summer for various reasons, but I continue with this. But it seemed to me that all the time one was working with any community group, and I worked with a lot of young people a lot of the time, went into pupil referral units and secondary schools and primary schools, and did creative stuff with them and had a huge amount of fun. When you go to enable them to express themselves and you have ways that can encourage them to come out and play, then everybody has fun. Well, obviously, as a dad, when the kids are having fun, it's just a joy for dad.
Can I just interject with something? I spent 4 years studying masters in child development and psychotherapy. And what I remember so vividly was the importance of play in regards to building relationships with young people. Yeah, if we look at somebody, a psychotherapist called Melanie Klein, she based some very important theories around the importance of play in terms of like her therapeutic interventions. And I was able to utilize that. I met some amazing footballers in my time as a Safer Schools officer. One of them, Ademola Lookman, is now playing for Atletico Madrid.
Fair enough.
And he was a local boy. I remember playing football with him as a police officer. I would go in goal, they would take shots, and my goodness, as time went by, I saw myself getting older and older, so I couldn't dive the same way in which I was able to do so. But here's the thing, it was going out there and playing. It was going out there and connecting with them through such a powerful medium. That's what made the difference. It's just so powerful, the fact that we've been brought together and we're investing in each other. It just eradicated so many barriers. They were able to not just see the police officer, the key thing that they were able to see was me, who I am. And play does that. Play just breaks down barriers. I remember times there were young people that were involved in criminal activity in pupil referral units. They were gang members, but we would get on that football pitch and we would have that competition, and we were able to just build stronger relationships. So play is a very important part of building relationships with young people.
Yeah, I remember there used to be, somewhere where I used to live, there was a big sports ground that the Met ran out near, I think it was the Met, out near Esher Hampton Courtway, and there was an annual sports event. I think rugby featured for a time, and it used to be tremendously successful because two teams would come and knock 9 bells out of each other. Yeah. And then it would be fine afterwards, and you laugh and joke, and the bond is made. But they don't do that anymore.
Well, yeah, because I remember as a young,
somebody decided.
Whatever the reason, I don't know. I won't speculate. But I remember as a young male, we used to do every year a football competition that the Met Police would organise, where you'd get a 5-a-side football tournament.
Yeah.
And I remember participating in that as a goalkeeper, as a young. I was brilliant. Let's cards
on the table.
Let's be real here. Let's tell it as it is. No, I remember how. Sorry, I was okay. Honestly, I was terrible. No. I'm joking aside. I wasn't too bad.
I imagine.
Yeah, and Crystal Palace were even interested in me at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What level did you get to, actually?
Well, this is where identity kicked in. My parents were not supportive of me pursuing football because coming from a Nigerian family, it was education. And if my kids hear this podcast, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, Dad," because they have to hear that all the time. They know with me, it's education.
Right.
And those are the values my family had for me. Anything like pursuing careers in sports or music, that wasn't something that they would be pushing. It would be mostly focused towards the traditional high status roles, whether it be an accountant, a lawyer, or a doctor. Those were things that were just synonymous with my community in terms of achieving status. So any pursuits of football just wasn't going to be supported.
Right.
So I didn't get a chance to fulfill that talent that was there as a young man.
Yeah, you could have been at Palace with Eze.
Oh no! I would have been at Tottenham.
Oh, would you?
that would have been my passion. Yeah,
Right.
I was a great goalkeeper. Very, very flexible, tall as well, commanding the box.
What are you, 6 foot? Three?
I'm 6'3". Yeah.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good enough. They make them a bit taller even nowadays, don't they?
They make him a bit taller, but that's I mean, look, I'm quite tall, and that presence helps me in policing as well. But yeah, that was my passion.
So just going back a bit, you said you did 4 years for a master's. Did that overlap with going into the police, or did that overlap with it?
That I did it whilst I was in the police service.
Brilliant.
And this was, the police service used to have a bursary that they offered. I don't know if we still have it in existence now, but if you could demonstrate the course that you're doing, the field of studies that you're going into, that's going to enrich your policing capabilities and skill set, they would support. So I was able to, I was working with young people in the pupil referral unit. I worked in the pupil referral unit in Peckham for close to 18 to 19 years.
Is that the one that was called Willowbank?
Was called Willowbank.
Yeah.
Then it turned to Southern Inclusive Learning Service. And so whilst it was Willowbank, we had some of the most vulnerable young people there. And being able to understand what young people are going through, being able to reflect on my journey, because that's what psychotherapy is about. It's about understanding your journey so that you can relate with others and support them. And so that made my experience, that made my abilities to connect with them increase to a much more productive and effective level, because I was able now, through having that input, having that intervention in my career development, to utilise those skills to support me in my policing role.
And it's all coming together in the work that you're currently doing, I imagine.
Yeah, these are all key foundation points for my own personal growth and development. These are the bricks that I'm built upon.
And you haven't pursued promotion within the ranks. You've stayed on the street, as it were, down there in the community.
Yeah. I've always been asked this question: why didn't I climb up the ladder? Wouldn't that? You'd make a great superintendent. You make a great commander. You make a great. I love being on the ground level. Yeah, that's where my heart is. That's where I thrive the most. That's where I make the most connections.
So like 8-10 years ago, Theresa May was stripping the Met bare because she changed the budget levels, and she needed the release of thousands of officers from the force. What was it like for you then, as a guy on the street? You're in the front line, as it were, in inverted commas, and the apparatus that above you, behind you, that enables you to be out there is being hurt
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah.
What was that like?
There was periods of uncertainty. We saw a drop in numbers, policing wise. It came off the back of the period of austerity that was experienced in the UK. And yeah, there was challenges. We had to find and explore ways to effectively police the community and work with the community to achieve our goals of making this London a safe place.
Because I remember talking to young people in local schools doing this film project or that video project, and they'd say the only time we see police is when they go down the street in a car, which is why I began our conversation with the idea of, you know, Bobby on the beat and so on.
Yeah.
Because back in that day, policemen were real individuals, and you'd see them around and they'd stay around, so you'd get to know them a bit. And the nearest we seem to have been at in more recent times is the schools officer, which I thought was a brilliant idea, because at first hand I could see the connection that a lot of students made with that person, that human.
Yeah.
Whether or not they had the uniform on, I think a lot of the time they would have had. But I remember one person saying, I was being a bit naughty, I asked the question about talking to the police, and they said, no, I wouldn't talk to the police officer. And so I then followed up and said, what about your school's officer? Oh yeah, we could tell her anything.
Yeah.
And it was chalk and cheese.
I
So
remember.
the community out there, they're ready to accept you all, and in some cases love you all.
Yeah.
But it's not so easy now, is it? What comes into your mind? What are the factors at play?
This is painful for me. This is painful for me because I gave up so many years of my policing career working in schools, and so that for me. You asked me at the start, which do I love the most, doing the work with the faith communities or doing the work with schools. The one thing about the work with the schools was that was the majority of my policing career. I did 18 years. I was, at the time when I left schools, I was the second longest serving Safer Schools police officer in the Met.
Is that behind Marcus?
That was behind Marcus, who had an extra 2 years ahead of me. So that's just pause and think. 18 years towards schools, the Safer Schools Partnership. It was started in 2002 in the Met. We started our one. I think it was Thames Valley that had the first one. But 2002 is where it started, and I started my Safer Schools journey in 2005. So having the majority of my policing career doing that work in schools, to see the Safer Schools Partnership disappear, it's been changed into a newer format, but I'm going to be biased. I love that role. I love the partnership. Even today, I still get communications from the schools that I worked with over here in Southwark. I help them out, I support them, I attend events. That relationship was powerful. So many young people. We spoke about why I feel confident walking on the streets on my own. Every time I walk on the street, and Chris, this is no lie, this is fully the truth. Anytime I walk on the street, somebody will come up to me, and recognize me. I have officers, when they go out with me, they'll be like, oh my gosh, are you a celebrity? I've had so many interactions. If you can imagine a secondary school where you have 700 young people, and then every year another 140 come in, then you put on top of that the different schools in which you will go around doing presentations and talks to. Yeah, year groups after year groups after year groups, and some of the talks would be like, will blow them away. It will leave a seed in that young person's head about how to stay safe, what they need to watch out for. So many different topics were explored. Then you will have those individuals remembering you. I've got a way in which when I do a presentation, it leaves a lasting memory in people's heads. And so I've got so many people that will come up to me and say, "Sir, I recognise you. Oh, I recognise you." And then I even had a situation where, showing my age here, one individual is now a police officer in Peckham. That was one of my pupils from one of my...
That's lovely.
That's the thing. That is the thing, and that's why this area means so much to me. I've invested so much in it. I was born here. I was brought up here. I had my faith interactions through the church over here. This was where my church was growing up. And so Southwark means the world to me. Yeah.
Well, it's your first world, in a sense, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the world that you learnt as a boy. And this is why I won't I've made it quite clear. If I'm leaving Southwark, I'm leaving kicking and screaming. I'm just telling you as it is. I don't have any aspirations to go to any other parts of London. This is my home. This is my heart. And my faith journey, my policing journey, it all centres around this area. That's fantastic. That's an investment that is hard to find. Not least because a lot of officers, when they join, seem to move around. Or that when they get to a certain level, they are moved around.
Yeah.
It's sort of required of them, it seems. And, I sit on this independent advisory group in Southwark, and it's a frustration for us because we get to know the senior leadership team a bit through the meetings, and then there's a clear out and the top person's gone, and so we have to learn the new one, but they're only staying for 2 or 3 years. And so in effect, we, the IAG, local citizens, end up holding the corporate memory. So we can read all the nuances. And recently it's been interesting because we've been allowed to have meetings with emergency response teams and young detectives, and we see how much under pressure they are. And they open up to us where they won't open up in front of the borough commander or a superintendent.
You've got an important role, a crucial role in terms of the well-being of officers. That relationship with the community, you play an instrumental role. As you've highlighted, the pressures of police officers. I mean, I remember seeing a survey, I think it was about a year ago, and they spoke about the most demanding, most stressful jobs. And there was a list, there was a top 10. In the top 2 was social workers and police officers.
I can believe it.
It is extremely stressful, those environments operating within. And so having important energy, programs, important relationships with the community, with individuals like yourself, it makes a difference. It makes a massive difference. The relationship I have with you, it makes a difference. The relationship I have with Stephen, Avril, Sheila, you name it, Doreen, the people in the IAG, it makes a difference. Because I can talk to you and you can give me that insight, you can give me that support. And officers need that, because we're up against it. It can be a very challenging environment at times. And so it's important for our own well-being, our own professional development to build up our relationships with the community.
Yeah. I don't think the general public understands that very much. So I mean, we get notification of incidents on the borough, and there was one that got special notification and came around, and it was the day that 3 officers ended up in hospital. And you think, jeepers.
Yeah.
You know,
And as I
that
said,
wasn't a day at work, that was a life event.
yeah. And as I said to you, during the course of our conversation, during moments of adversity is where you can build some of the most powerful relationships. Some of the stuff that officers see and have to deal with, they're traumatizing. They are traumatizing events. And we can put in place our systems. We've got different interventions. It's improved immensely since back in the days. You mentioned Green. I can't imagine what they, some of the stuff that they saw. And you just had to have you're a police officer, you're a police person, representative. You just have to suck it in and get on with it.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. And
I think you got the accent right as well.
oh well. I didn't tell you that I did years in acting as well. I worked in theatre.
Good boy. Well, if I plan another production, I shall bear you in mind.
I was behind the scenes. I was 6 years in the Bridewell Theatre all those years ago, Central London. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, as a young.
Strings to the bow. So many.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there's tons of places I can go.
So the IAG, it was interesting how you responded to it about well-being for individual officers can flow from that sort of connection that's offered.
Yeah.
But say a bit more about how the need arises, because people won't necessarily understand what you mean.
Okay, so I can pick out so many different aspects of that relationship, what it's done. Yeah, look at us here now. Talking, engaging, exploring ways in which we can connect with the community. I have situations, we would deal with situations where we need that insight into what the community is thinking in terms of what they might be experiencing during a traumatic experience, where it could be a critical incident, where it might be, sorry to be a bit cliched, but it might be a stabbing. It could be a fire. There could be all kinds of things that could go on within the community, and the community needs to have a voice, and the IAGs are that powerful voice for us, so that you can keep us connected and understanding and appreciating what the community is feeling.
That's good, and it actually does work both ways. I was saying before we began that I spent yesterday morning at New Scotland Yard listening to, in 4 speakers, 2 of them had been officers of the Met and had become alcoholic, and pressure was clearly a factor. I think they would also claim now that being an alcoholic, when you identify it and accept it, you know that it's never going to go away. All you can do is say, I'm not going to drink today. And they don't think 15 years, they just think today. And each morning is today. And so they just work on that a daily basis. It's really quite inspiring hearing them talk about how they got themselves through serious adversity. I mean, these people are in a real mess mentally, and obviously home, wife, children, that goes. It gave people like myself and others from the IAG who attended a big insight into the cost sometimes of coppering. So you're all right. I mean,
on paper.
But you're happy, aren't you? Because you're doing what you set out to do, and you're still doing it.
Yeah.
And probably won't change.
Yeah. I mean, look, you spoke about alcohol, and those coppers that you saw what they utilise to deal with the stresses of and demands of the work in policing. Because the main centre point for this conversation was about focused upon faith. Faith has been important for me in dealing with the demands of policing. I had, one of the key interventions I've had recently is I've got to big up my uncle. He's Dr. Charles Atalma. He's the father of an up-and-coming, probably the next heavyweight boxing champion of the world, Moses Atalma. But my uncle's played an amazing part in my life because we do a Bible session once a day, and in the evenings we go through a chapter in the Bible and we explore it. We talk about what it means to us, what we just read, what we just learned, and it's helped me out because I used to hate doing, and this is me just telling you a bit about me. I used to hate doing prayers in public. I absolutely hated. And the thing is, in my Nigerian culture, my parents would always push me, push us to do a prayer.
What, to speak it out loud?
Speak it out loud. And I would be dreading it, absolutely petrified. And that would grip me. And so the Bible session that we've been doing, we always have to pray. And so, because I'm continuously doing it, I've seen my progression. I've seen my development.
In how?
In terms of being able to pray publicly.
Oh, I see. Just a quiet self-confidence.
Yeah.
Just do it.
We're just doing it. You
Yeah.
know, you just had that development. You've had that continual exposure rather than being called upon just once in a while to do something. Doing it continuously daily. So these are key things that's helped me in dealing with the demands of the job.
Do you know, the people yesterday, I'd say all 4 speakers, 3 alcoholic and 1 who worked for an organisation that specialised in relating to those adjacent to an alcoholic, like a spouse or a child or a parent. And they all had a relationship with their higher being, their God, their whatever, their spiritual leader.
Makes a difference.
It was fascinating. And I was also struck when you accepted the invitation to come on this round table discussion 2 years back.
For 2 years?
You were very prompt in replying. I wrote to 3 people that I really wanted to be there because I thought, well, if I could get A, B and C, then this thing is taking shape.
Yeah.
And A, B and C came in almost, as it were, by return of post. I sent the email, I got an email back, and I thought, wow, because I'd really hesitated on this thing. I want to talk about community and faith because it just was coming up in me. It sort of presented itself.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, when they present themselves those things, they're saying, deal with me, whatever this thing is. And for me, in that moment, it was that idea of a round table. And I knew immediately. I didn't have to wait for a week or a fortnight. Within 24 hours, I knew the idea's been approved.
Yeah.
It felt like it. And they're very patient, these gods of ours. Because in theory, they love everybody, don't they? We're all part of the creation.
Yeah.
However we're making out here, that's the deal.
Everything happens in God's time. Yeah.
And sometimes he has to wait for you.
Yeah.
Because, we take wrong turnings and have to go back a bit and do it again.
I can look back in my career and I may have felt I was ready for certain things, but I needed to experience the adversity in order to be properly ready to make the difference in people's lives.
And are you still getting adversity now in different ways?
Life is always going to be a mixture of highs and lows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you've got that pool, that resource bank
That
where
strengthens you, doesn't it?
strengthens you. You speak, hold on a second. I've been through more difficult situations than what I'm dealing with. I'll give you. Oh gosh, I love. You know me. I love a little story, so I'll be very quick. I'm being mindful of the time. So, I had to read Westminster Cathedral during our carol service event, which is attended by senior officials. You had the Mayor of London, Nsikan at the time. He's still Mayor of London. You had the Commissioner, all the top brass, and you had other senior officials. And I had to read in front of them in Westminster Cathedral. I'm trying to, I was
shaken.
petrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, shaken. Definitely something was shaken. And so I had to go and read this Bible scripture, and you have to go up to the pulpit. And the thing is, I said to myself, hold on a second. Yeah. Why am I afraid of this? Why am I allowing myself to be overtaken by this fear? This is who you are. Yeah. You're a man of faith. You're getting an opportunity to read a scripture and proclaim your faith. Mm-hmm. And also, you've been in front of terrifying young people, because young people, if you're in a class with young people in a pupil referral unit as a police officer, trying to encapsulate them, trying to gain their buy-in, that's brutal. 1,000 people in Westminster Cathedral is nothing in comparison to some of the sessions I had with the young people.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they bounce off the walls.
They will bounce off the walls. They will bounce you off the walls.
Yeah,
if you don't get it right. So yeah, you've got that pool, that of experiences to relate to help carry you through.
Good for you.
Thank you. It made a difference.
We need to be thinking of rounding up. There's a few quick questions I might ask you.
By the way.
Some people say society is dysfunctional. That's possibly unfair, because a lot of society works, but there are issues. So from the issues that you see in life as a professional man, what would you hope to fix first? What's your priority?
A very good question. If there was an area which I would like to see, I know we're doing work on it, I would like to see social media, that area being addressed, because I feel like we've had a generation that have been exposed to some very, very dangerous levels of content, and we're developing a much more meaningful understanding as to what we've exposed young people, the community to. Social media we've seen how it impacted elections. We've seen how it's impacted, levels of violence. We've seen how it's impacted people's understanding and views of their community, of their world. And so I would like to see work being done, which I know it's being done currently. If we can work on how we protect the well-beings, the mental well-beings of young people and the society with social media, that's the one that I would really like to see. Because that's such a powerful medium, especially being a parent with 2 kids and seeing the role it's played in their lives.
Have you withheld phones from them, or have you let them have their phone and tried to handle it?
I saw the difficulties that parents experience, because my son, oh my gosh, I'm gonna...
He's watching.
He's watching. Okay, Joshua. Yeah. No, I love you to bits. He's such a clever individual. Oh. Okay, so it's a little story. Yeah. Remember I said I'm Nigerian background, education. So I gave my son, he had a program that he would have to do online tuition through. Now I remember the program would allow us to see the grades and to see the progress. And all of a sudden, I remember looking, checking on my son's results. It was like, hey, 9 hours spent doing this, getting all the questions right. This individual's gonna smash it in the exams. I'm thinking, whoa, my son's a genius. Wow, let me get the money ready for Cambridge and Oxford, Then one time I went downstairs, because he does the work via laptop. Yeah, I went downstairs, surprised him in the room, and I said, Joshua, are you doing your work? And he's like, Dad. And he showed, I looked at the laptop, and I saw one half yeah, of the page, the web page, showing the normal format, and the other half showing a program language format. What he had done over that time period, where he was getting all those 100% marks, he had used Visual Basic programming language and changed the script so he could change what the grades looked like. Clever boy, but this is the thing. The young people are exposed to this stuff. Yeah, they know how, technology, for us, embracing technology compared to what they're exposed to is two different worlds.
Yeah.
And so it's just so important, really, really important that us as parents, we provide programs to help them, so it's not such a daunting world to intervene and support the well-being of our young people.
Yeah, and keep them a little more on the straight and narrow without the imaginative excursions. But yeah, at the same time, of course, that kind of skill level can be harnessed and go great guns in legitimate ways and to his general benefit as well.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. He helps me out immensely with IT stuff.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Do you come across in Southwark underachieving young white boys who I hear are at the bottom of the educational ladder?
I come across underachieving individuals from all demographics.
Right.
But yes, of course, I've come across young, underachieving individuals from the white.
I mean, I highlighted that simply because I've heard that statistically that is a thing. That there's a ladder, and I think Chinese and Indian boys, girls, students, score very well, and right near the bottom you get Afro-Caribbean and British white. And British white, I think we hold up, right at the bottom.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you've come across that and if you've figured anything out.
I mean, in terms of like the trends and statistics, I don't have that knowledge, that insight, so I couldn't comment too much in that sense. But in my time, my role, with the diverse nature of boroughs like Southwark, because of the diverse nature, you're going to come across individuals from all demographics, experiencing adversity, experiencing problematic. Sad to say, as you highlighted the point, dysfunctional families. I've seen individuals that have come from very, very painful, tragic circumstances. Some have made it, and we've been able to successfully support, and some people we haven't been able to. Yeah.
Some come from countries that are genuinely affected by war. Like Somalia would be an immediate example. Syria,
Afghanistan. We've got a massive Afghanistani community.
Two quick questions.
Go far away.
Because they're huge subjects, so I just want a kind of one-liner thought, if you have one.
Okay, cool.
Has racism changed over the years?
You throw really very, very. Has racism changed over the years? I would say yes. I feel it's been driven more underground, was more overt in the past, but I feel like it's like if I'm to make it's rising again. I can see it rising, in terms of what's going on in society at the moment. The race is playing a massive part.
Are you thinking just black and white, or are you thinking in any kind of direction between communities and ethnicities?
Well, look at the things we've explored today. We looked at Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, immigration. We can see that diversity, multiculturalism. There's been issues with, developing. Communities are feeling the need to be protected.
Yeah.
And so, if you ask me, is race, have I seen changes in race? Yes, I have. It was more overt in the past. It improved legislations, interventions and stuff like that. But now I've seen the climate starting to increase, and it's something that we have to be mindful of.
Yeah. DEI. Do you think diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI training, and the imposing of that in certain institutions in life and so on, are you a supporter of that kind of training?
Any input is better than no input, but I'm more of a advocate of individuals getting involved in their community. That's the best training you can provide, being part of your community. Then you will learn about diversity in its most powerful format. I would like to see officers getting involved in soup kitchens, working with the charities, community groups, at least once a month. That would be brilliant.
Do you think there's the flexibility within the weekly operation?
This is it. But
because you're losing officers, aren't you?
We're losing officers, but the model that we're looking at in terms of what we're implementing is community-based policing. So there is that opportunity to do that. It was a secret to my success, building relationships with the young people, building relationships with the community, building relationships with community groups.
You've probably inspired people to join, haven't you?
I've been on so many posters, but also the work I've done with the young people,
yes,
done in the community as well.
That level of engagement with them at an impressionable age.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was part of a campaign for years where I was on billboards all over the country. I remember even seeing my billboard on a Eurostar tunnel journey from France, and I've had people come up to me from my community saying, I recognise that, your name, a Niger name. I've inspired people. I know I've been told about it, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a blessing. It's been a privilege.
That's the purpose of life that you've been delivering and will continue to do so. Do you have to retire after 30 years, or could you keep on if you chose?
Officially, I could stay on to 60.
Okay. Do you think you might?
It's a big question.
Fitness levels, appetite for the work.
Yeah.
I mean, appetite for the work might not diminish.
No, my passion for the community won't. But let me just be very clear. Anything that I've ever done, I want to be the best at it. And so when it comes to policing, if I'm not at my best, then it's time for me to think, am I right? Should I leave it to somebody else to come in to give the community that higher level of service? Yeah. That's for me is key.
You'll be able to operate in perhaps other ways.
Yeah.
I've been in media for over 50 years, and it's been changing periodically in the last sort of 20.
Yeah.
But letting it go, well, why would I do that? And I could see that thought might be in your mind too.
I wouldn't want to, I mean, it's all about how I am at that point in time. I'm getting older,
Are you?
Yeah, I am. I'm feeling it. And as we talked about technology, it's changing.
Yeah.
The younger officers can whiz through a computer. Whereas me, I'm like, some things. But the nature of policing is changing. Yeah. I saw a post not so long ago in China, and they were talking about how AI is going to be impacting policing. They were talking about having going on patrols with AI robots. Could that be the future of policing over here? Who knows? But technology is playing a key part in policing. And so we don't know what tomorrow's world might hold.
Yeah.
So long as I can make an effective impact to the community, then I'm going to be here.
Yeah. Change, we live with change, don't we? And it doesn't go more slowly as it carries on changing. Big change seems to come around very regularly. Your bright son, Joshua, the world that he's going to be living in 25 years' time is very difficult to forecast, isn't it?
I can't even imagine. Technology moves so rapidly. We were just getting to grips with mobile phones. Now we're getting to grips with AI systems. In the next 4 to 5 years, to change the AI is playing a massive role in policing. We've got drones now in the police service. Yeah. There's going to be so much technology that's going to be released in the next 5 to 10 years. So, what my children, the youth today, what they're going to be seeing in the next 10, 15 years, wow. I can't even fathom it.
Better do a podcast in 15 years. May not be with me, Nsikan,
I hope so. It'd be good to do this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And so, Southwark means the world to me.